Good afternoon, everyone from Europe, all over Europe. My name is David, and I will be your presenter and also trainer for this training. We call it the emGuarde Empowerment Training. Over here in Malaysia, my time it's actually 9, to be exact, it's 9:02 p.m. It's at night. Okay, it's late evening here, and I'm happy to see you all in this training. Okay, before I start the training, I'll be talking slightly slower today to actually give time to the translator to translate it into your respective languages. Okay? And the objective of this training is to empower you with the basic emGuarde knowledge for you to do your distribution rights. And when you go out there, when you meet the customers, you can actually use these training materials to communicate the correct message to the market. Okay, now before I start the training, I would like to set a few house rules. Okay, now first of all, I know that there is a lot of you today, and we are looking into about 400 people, more than that, and I think more are coming in. Okay, it's about 400 now, and it is impossible for me to give you an answer to all your questions. So I've actually came up with a strategy, and I think this works better. Now, first of all, before I start the training, you can write down some of your questions that you would like to ask on a piece of paper. Okay. Now, during the training, I believe some of the materials that I'm about to share with you today is able to answer some of your questions. Okay. If your questions has been answered through the training, please cross. Okay, just do a cross on your questions written on the paper. But if let's say you still have questions which is not yet been answered, accumulate the questions and send the questions to your respective EET branch. Okay, and it is easier that way. And when they receive the questions, they will send the questions directly to me and my team, and we will answer it one by one and send it back, to your respective branches. So I believe this is the best way for us to handle all the questions session for this training, so that it will be smoother. And the entire training will be recorded at the same time for revision purposes, so that you can actually look back and relearn in the near future. Okay, now let's begin in today's training. The emGuarde Empowerment Training, 11th of June 2024. Now this will be the topic of today's training. Okay, so there are 7 different topics that I will be covering today. Okay, and this is going to ease your journey to becoming an emGuarde master. Okay, so the first topic that we are talking about today is the type of electromagnetic radiation. All right, followed by how emGuarde works. The third one is the most sought after training, which is mastering the common frequently asked questions, followed by mastering the demo tools, followed by mastering the environment factor, followed by laboratory and compliance certification, and last but not least is leveraging on the marketing resources. Okay, let's begin with today's training. The first topic, types of electromagnetic radiation. Okay, now in the universal electromagnetic spectrum, there is 2 types of radiation spectrum. Okay, now what's on your right hand side, it's known as the ionizing radiation in red color, and on the left it's actually the non-ionizing radiation spectrum. Now for today's emGuarde training, we won't be focusing on the red ionizing spectrum, because this ionizing radiation spectrum is beyond emGuarde's technology to cover you or to protect you in this segment. Okay, so today we'll be downsizing it and focusing on this particular radiation spectrum, which is the non-ionizing radiation spectrum. Now, in this area, there is a long list of radiation categories. As you can see, on the bottom of the picture, there is a blue color arrow starting from ELFs, which stands for extremely low frequency radiation. Okay, the next one is radio frequency, followed by microwaves, infrared, visible light, and more. All right, now let's downsize again. So over here, when we talk about the non-ionizing radiation, there is a few things that I would like to share with you in order to give you more clarity on which type of radiation energy is emGuarde suppressing or addressing. Now, the first energy is actually coming from the AC power line, which is your regular electricity. And we call this radiation as the electromagnetic field radiation. The second energy is usually coming from signal transmission radiation generated devices. Okay, so these are the two common radiation energies that we get from a day-to-day basis. Now, let me put all this into three different color categories. So the first energy that we are getting from a day-to-day basis, it's the electromagnetic field coming from the electricity. The second energy, it's coming from signal transmission, all right? So it's actually coming from devices with an antenna. For example, your mobile phone or a regular Wi-Fi router. However, these two energy, when they transmit its functional energy, it produces an unwanted radiation, or we call it a byproduct. And it is known as the electromagnetic noise energy. And emGuarde is built to address this unwanted radiation or the byproduct of the radiation field and signal transmission energy. In the next slide, I'm going to put everyone into a more simpler perspective in my next explanation. My team and I have designed this animation to give you a total clarity on how emGuarde actually works. Now, this is a common household. When you turn on the electricity, and most of your appliances at home needs electricity to operate. When you turn on the electricity, you're going to generate the first electromagnetic energy in the house, which comes in the form of electromagnetic field, or we call it the EMF. Now, when you activate telecommunication devices such as your router, it is going to generate the second energy at home. And this energy, it's known as signal transmission radiation. Now, emGuarde is not built to disrupt any signal transmission because it's illegal to do so. And emGuarde is not built to disturb or to cut any electricity or power lines. Therefore, when you activate the emGuarde, this 2 energy remains in your environment. Now, remember what I've said earlier on. When this 2 energy is in the environment, it produces a byproduct, or we call it the unwanted radiation energy. And this unwanted radiation energy is called the electromagnetic noise radiation. And it is actually a byproduct from the first 2 energy, which is the electromagnetic field and signal transmission. When you place an emGuarde in the house, and when the emGuarde is activated, it is actually suppressing the 3rd energy here, which is the electromagnetic noise radiation energy. Therefore, preserving the signal transmission, and you can still use the Wi-Fi and your 4G data as usual. It will not disrupt any signal transmission frequencies. Now, with that, it is easier for the public to understand that what sort of radiation is emGuarde actually addressing. Now, let's take a look at one of the documents from the World Health Organization. And this particular article is titled as Radio Frequency and Microwaves. Now, in this article, point 4.2.1, it is stated clearly that in the environment, there is 2 types of radiation. The first radiation is known as deliberate emitters. And normally, this type of radiation is coming from antenna. They use, from the first paragraph, antenna designed to emit electromagnetic waves. So this is referring to the signal transmission energy. Now, I would like to invite all of you here to look at the second highlighted points. In spite of the degree of perfection of the design of a deliberate emitters, some unintentional leakage or stray radiation is always generated. The third line, unintentional radiation may occur in the form of broadband noise. And number 5, the fourth line, for example, while the intentional radiation of fluorescent light tube lies in the visible light range, such tubes also generate very low level of microwaves and radio frequency white noise. And as you can see, there is a highlighted red box. The keyword here is radio frequency white noises. And emGuarde is built to suppress targeted radio frequency white noises. I hope that this article gives you further clarity on what types of radiation is emGuarde addressing. Now, along the training, I'll be providing more clarity to all of you here Please bear with me. Topic number 2, how emGuarde works. Now, I believe that this is one of the most important topics in this training, because when you do prospecting or when you are about to sell the emGuarde to the market, your customers may want to know how emGuarde really works. From a day-to-day basis, when we uses all types of different appliances like the mobile phone, the laptops, and the hairdryer, now these gadgets, it's able to produce the third energy, which is the byproduct of the first and second energy. It is known as the electromagnetic noise radiation. When you activate the emGuarde and within a 4-meter radius range, emGuarde utilize harmonic frequencies to effectively suppress targeted electromagnetic noise radiation between 3 to 1000 megahertz of frequencies within a 4-meter radius. This harmonizing method achieves a balanced atmosphere while preserving the natural ambient frequencies. Now, therefore, when you use the emGuarde in an environment, the emGuarde will not affect the functionality of your other appliances or devices. It is only suppressing the targeted unwanted radiation energy from your devices from a day-to-day basis. To put everyone in a clearer perspective, this is actually what built emGuarde as a machine. Okay, let me dissect the machine and show you how it looks like internally. It's like the Kangen machines. You guys are seeing how the electrolysis chamber processes the water and make it a functional water for your customers to drink. Now, same goes to emGuarde. There will be a technology mechanism inside this black box. Now, in the emGuarde itself, everything you see on the screen might look very simple. Let me go through one by one. First of all, the emGuarde is powered by a Type-C connector, and it requires 2 huge solenoid antennas to transmit the harmonics frequencies to do its suppression and harmonizing job within a 4-meter radius of range. When the white LED indicator is lit on, that represents that emGuarde is actually currently at function. Now, let me share with you the most important component in the emGuarde, which is the core technology processor. Now, this piece of processor acts like the electrolysis chamber, which can be found in the Kangen machine. It is the heart of the machine. And as for the core technology processor, it works like the Intel computer chip that can be found in most of your laptops or computer. Now, this core technology processor governs many layerings of harmonics frequencies programmed by the developer of the emGuarde. And this programmed harmonics frequency is used to suppress targeted electromagnetic noise radiation across 3 megahertz all the way to 1000 megahertz of range. In this video, I would like to share with you, during this test, we are using a third-party tool to measure emGuarde's coverage range within a 4-meter radius. Let's take a look at the recording before I continue my training. Alright, so in this section of the video, I'm going to show you how emGuarde has the ability to alleviate the radiation from this LED light bulb 4 meters away from this antenna. Okay, so now first of all, I'd like you to see the screen. From the software itself, everything is clear before I turn on the LED. Now as soon as I turn on the LED, as you can see, you can actually see that the noise field from the EM radiation comes back, and it's actually showing in this blue curvy line. Okay, so now I'm going to invite my team to take this emGuarde away from me for about 4 meters, okay, in radius. Okay, now I'm going to invite my team to power on the emGuarde. Just plug the USB-C, leave it on the table. Now as soon as the emGuarde's on, as you can see, the frequency spectrum from the SDR software has been cleared away. Okay, now as soon as I unpower the emGuarde, please remove the power line from the emGuarde, just unplug. Wait for about 2 to 3 seconds. The radiation from the LED comes back immediately. Now let's do another control test by powering up the emGuarde again. Please put the USB-C power cable into the emGuarde. There you go. And immediately, as you can see, everything is cleared away. And this is to show you that emGuarde works effectively 4 meters away from this antenna. Okay, so in this short video, after the training, all this material will be made available to you in the official Telegram channel so that you can download this material for your future presentation purposes. So in this short video, now we are able to show you that emGuarde can effectively suppress targeted electromagnetic noise radiation between 3 MHz to 1000 MHz within a 4-meter radius. Furthermore, the multiple layering of harmonics frequencies is strategically programmed to target specific frequencies at 36 MHz, 72, 108, 144, and 180 and more, all the way up to 1000 MHz. Now, the multiple layering of harmonics frequency is considered as a trade secret by the emGuarde developer and, of course, Energic Japan as well. Therefore, we do not have further information on the details of the multiple layering of harmonics due to trade secret reason. And the good news is, currently in the market, there is no similar product as the emGuarde yet. Okay, now in the next topic, I will present to you, and it will make more sense to you that why the developer have strategically programmed to target specific frequencies at 36, 72, 108 and more, all the way up to 1000. So this is actually the first frequently asked questions by the market and the distributors. Okay. Why emGuarde harmonizes from targeted frequencies between 3 MHz to 1000? Why not 2000? Why not 5000 or even 10,000 MHz? Why between 3 to 1000? All right. Now, a very simple reason given by the developer is this. Now, according to one of the bulletin that can be found through the Federal Communication Commission, which is the FCC body in the US, it is clearly stated in one of the pages that the human body absorbs radio frequency energy at some frequencies more efficiently than at others. And in this case, the most restrictive limits occur in the frequency range of 30 to 300 megahertz, where the whole body absorption of the radio frequency energy by human being is most efficient. Okay, now I would like all of you here to focus on the magic number. What is the magic number? Between 30 to 300 megahertz of range. Now, does this frequency range looks familiar to you? Earlier on, I was talking about the targeted harmonics frequencies from the emGuarde. And it can be found within this range as well, which is 36, 72, 108, 144, and 180. Now with that, I'm going to share with you the next material on the next slide. Now, based on research, we found out that the aggregate frequencies of the body organs operates between these frequencies. Our normal brain frequencies is actually operating at about 72 megahertz. And in this case, we are not referring to the frequencies of the cells or the neutrons, because that one, we are talking about a much more lower frequencies. It is within 8 hertz to about 12 hertz. In this case, they are referring to the aggregate operational frequencies for the entire organ rather than a cell or a neuron. And for normal brain frequency, it is actually at 72 megahertz. And the other body organs lies between 60 to about 80 megahertz as well. Now, let me put you into a simple perspective why 30 to 300 megahertz is considered as one of the most restrictive limits or a range that we need to be aware of. A very simple reason can be explained in the following resonance video. In this video, a science teacher is going to use a tuning fork and to show you that if the tuning fork is of a different frequency, it would not vibrate the next tuning fork and cause the vibration of the ping pong ball. Let's watch the short video together. Okay, I believe this video is very simple and is actually trying to put you into a perspective that if, let's say, there is a similar frequency or radiation frequency vibrating, for example, in the 72 megahertz, potentially it might affect our brain activities as well. Okay, therefore, 72 megahertz is actually one of the targeted frequency that emGuarde is designed to suppress and to protect us from the negative effects of the radiation. I hope I make myself clear in the first commonly asked FAQ. So that's actually the real reason why emGuarde is programmed to suppress the radiation below 1000 megahertz of range. Now, let's go on and move on to the second commonly asked questions from the market. Why using the radiation detector 9300 instead of other detectors in the market? The answer is pretty simple. Earlier on, I've been sharing with you about the 3 different energies from the common household. I hope that you can still recall the 3 energies that I've shared with you. The first one is the electromagnetic field from the electricity, followed by the energy coming from transmission signal devices, and the third energy is the electromagnetic noise energy, which is a byproduct of the first 2. Now, most of the common detectors out there, it's either measuring the first energy, which is the electric and magnetic field from the AC socket, or they are measuring the energy from the second energy, which is the transmission of the signal energy. In this recorded video, I will put clearly to you that I've accumulated all different types of radiation detectors in the market to show you a clear explanation on the different detectors that has been used to do the testing. And this, it's able to create more sense after you watch this video. Let's play the video. Okay, so in this section of the video, I'm going to show you the differentiation from different detectors available in the market and why some of these detectors you should avoid it while you're using it to do the emGuarde demo. Now, cheaper detectors like this, it says electromagnetic radiation detector, but when you hook this meter on, you can't even detect the radiation from a phone screen. So this doesn't work because this detector is only used to measure very low frequency radiation from the power socket. Okay, now another type of detector available in the market, electromagnetic field tester. Now this detector, we found out that this detector is only good at reading the signal coming in from the 4G or the Wi-Fi. Let me show you what I mean. Let me activate the meter here, and I want to put this meter below the iPhone. Okay, now as soon as I call up a program from the iPhone, for example, I'm going to turn on the YouTube channel. There you go. So now the detector is actually responding to the data received from the YouTube itself. Now, as soon as I turn this phone into the airplane mode, so I'm going to terminate the Wi-Fi and also the mobile data. Okay, so immediately when I turn it to the airplane mode, as you can see, you no longer receive any response from this detector. Okay, now however, as soon as I switch off the airplane mode and the data is back, the detector began to respond again to the signal from the phone. Now, why I strongly recommended RD9100 is because now even if I turn the phone into the airplane mode, means there is no data, there is no Wi-Fi, the RD has ability to pick up the radiation from the phone itself, and now it's averaging at about 1,400 microwatts to about 1,500 microwatts. Okay, so in other words, RD9100 is not picking up any signal. Instead, RD9100 is actually picking up the power density radiation coming from the battery, okay, operated in the phone itself. Now, let me show you another detector in the market. This detector is what we bought from the USA, and it's called the cell sensor. And supposedly this detector is able to pick up radiation from the cell phone. Okay, but now as soon as I hook up this meter, as you can see, okay, let me just put the meter on. Now, the phone, it's on airplane mode. As you can see, it's also picking up reading from the screen itself. Okay, now, but the thing is, we found that this detector is actually picking up and responding or reacting towards the metal part of the phone. Now, I'm going to turn off the phone. Okay, let me switch off the phone now. And let me show you what I mean. Now, as soon as the phone is switched off, if I use the regular RD, once the integrated circuit is completely shut down, the Audi will get 0 reading because there is no more radiation source coming from this phone. Okay, because it's properly shut off and there is no power in the circuit itself. So everything goes back to 0. Okay, there you go. Alright, now, but for this detector itself, although the phone's already been shut off, you can still pick up reading from the phone itself. Now the reason being is because detectors like this, they're actually picking up and sensing the metal parts from the handphone. For example, now in this handphone cover, there is one metal piece over here. As long as I put this into the metal, the detector is reacting against the metal but not the radiation. Okay? Alright. Okay, now let me do a quick summary from this video presentation. Now in the video presentation, I've shown you 4 different types of radiation detector, and let me explain to you one by one. The first radiation detector shown in the video is actually used to measure the first energy, which is the electromagnetic field strength coming from the electricity or power line. And the second detector that is shown in the video is actually measuring the second energy, and it is known as the signal strength or the signal radiation coming from antenna devices like your mobile phone with antenna and of course the Wi-Fi router. Now these 2 types of radiation detector is not compatible to use to conduct an emGuarde demo, because when you turn on the emGuarde is not built to eliminate the radiation coming from the power line, which is the first energy, or the radiation coming from signal transmitted devices, the second energy. Now, the third detector shown in the video, it's known as a metal or the other forms of detector. So it's unknown, all right? I cannot give further comments on this. There are many different detectors out there, okay? Now, last but not least, if you notice, Energic is the only place where you can buy or purchase the RD radiation detector. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to explain to the 600 of you who is attending the training today. Now, this unique radiation detector is a customized detector. It is uniquely used to measure the power density of the electromagnetic noise radiation. Now, because emGuarde is an innovative product, it is not a common technology like your hairdryer or your washing machines or your microwaves oven in-house. Therefore, the developer needs to use a sophisticated detector like this to show you what types of energy is emGuarde actually suppressing. Therefore, the radiation detector that you got as your marketing tool is measuring the third energy, and this third energy, it's the byproduct of the first and the second energy. Okay, now facts on the radiation detector 9300 as a demo tool. I would like to quickly read and emphasize on certain points that you need to understand. Now, the first line, the radiation detector 9300 is designed as a marketing tool to demonstrate emGuarde's suppression of targeted electromagnetic noise within the 3 MHz to the 1000 MHz of range, effectively showcasing emGuarde's ability to create a protective zone within a 4-meter radius. Now, when used within an active emGuarde coverage, the radiation detector may indicate a 0 reading, and that 0 symbolizing the reduction or suppression of targeted electromagnetic noise radiation. Now, the important facts is the following sentence. However, it is vital to understand that this 0 reading does not imply the elimination of all forms of electromagnetic radiation across the spectrum. So now, I think a lot of distributors or customers might confuse when it comes to this particular area, and let me explain to you. When the detector shows 0 in the presence of an active emGuarde, it simply means that the detector is able to detect the correct targeted noise suppression harmonics frequencies coming from the emGuarde device. Hence, it is neutralizing and showing you a 0 reading. However, the other radiation energies, such as the electromagnetic field, which is the first type of energy, and the signal transmission energy coming from the antenna devices, it is still around the environment. Okay, so this is actually the unique part of the emGuarde where it is able to suppress targeted pollution at the same time preserving the important ambient frequencies around your environment. Okay, I hope I made myself very clear in this section. Now, third but last but not least, when emGuarde is activated, does it mean that there is no radiation in the environment? So I think this is also one of the most important FAQs, and we've been training the market since last year, and today I'm very happy to be able to share with you this knowledge and piece of information to all the European distributors in Energic. So the question is, can emGuarde eliminate all types of radiation, including nuclear factories, mobile phones, power substations, and the entire non-ionizing radiation spectrum? So this is actually the correct explanation to counter this question. No, emGuarde cannot eliminate all types of radiation. It is designed to suppress targeted electromagnetic noise radiation within the frequency range of 3 MHz to 1000 MHz. It does not eliminate radiation from nuclear factories, completely remove radiation from mobile phones, as the signals coming from the Wi-Fi and the 4G, 5G tower, it still exists, or eliminate all radiations from power substations. It also does not cover the entire non-ionizing radiation spectrum, which ranges from 0 Hz all the way to the terahertz range. Let me show you the next picture for greater clarity purposes. The targeted suppression range of the emGuarde lies between the 2 red arrows that I'm about to show you on this chart. If you look at the 2 red arrows pointing downwards, it is actually the functional range of the emGuarde, and it is actually at a targeted specific range between 3 MHz all the way to about 1000. And why are they focusing on this range? I believe I've already provided you the correct answer during the FAQ training earlier on in regards to the FCC report mentioning that between 30 MHz to 300 MHz, this is actually the most prominent range that we want to protect you from. Last but not least, is it accurate to use terms like elimination, of radiation, or cutting of radiation, or destroying radiation for emGuarde. Now, it is very important when you use such a terminology because such terminology might lead to misleading presentation when you're presenting emGuarde to your prospects. Now, the correct keyword to use for your emGuarde demo is the word suppression. Okay, so emGuarde is built to suppress targeted electromagnetic noise radiation. So this is the correct terminology for you to use in your upcoming demonstration. All right, now we have come to the fourth topic of today, and we are almost there. Hang in there, and I hope that you guys get immense value after today's training. Now, for those of you who came in late to the room, do not worry, because this session is a recorded session, and please get a copy of the recording from your respective energetic branches for revision purposes. Topic number 4, mastering the demo tools. Now, so far with emGuarde, I have got 2 demonstration tools to share with you. Now, the first demo tools that I'm going to talk about, this is actually a third-party software and a third-party hardware where you can use to do the emGuarde demonstration or installation for the emGuarde. Now, this demo tool is known as the SDR software, which stands for Software Defined Radio. Unfortunately, this particular demo tool, it's only compatible with the Android phone. All right, so for Apple phone user, unfortunately, you can't use this tool because it is only compatible with the Android phone. And for those of you who are technical and you are willing to learn about the installation of this tool, please follow the steps that I've listed down on this presentation slides. And it is advisable for you to use an Android phone with the Android of 13. They call it Android version 13 and above, in order for you to avoid any disruption from this app. Now, this third-party software, it's very effective in measuring the background fundamental white noise radiation from your environment. At the same time, you're able to tune this particular software to the targeted suppression frequencies that emGuarde is operating at. Now, my team and I have actually prepared the SDR setup video, and it is actually a step-by-step program to teach those distributors who wish to install this on their Android phones. So this video will be made available to you as well after the training session. So this is actually a step-by-step video. And it's a dark guide for those people who are new. You can use this to help you and your downline to effectively and successfully download this particular app into your Android system. Now, please bear in mind that this app is a paid app, and it will cost you around $10 to install the application to the phone before you do the demo. And the exact price is $12. will leave the rest of the video to your personal learning moment. Now, let me share with you another video that me and my colleague produces in Hong Kong. During last January, we were in Hong Kong doing the emGuarde launch for Energic Hong Kong. And during the next video presentation, we're actually using the same demonstration tool, which is the SDR software, to conduct a very simple emGuarde demo. Let me share with you the demonstration video with the SDR app.
So I want you guys to see, just zoom in on the phone, Ben. You can just take a look at this. I don't know if you guys can hear it. So the software is connected through a dongle that connects to an antenna. And the antenna is receiving the interference around this room. It's unbelievable. Take a look at the chart. It is crazy. Absolutely crazy. We have not seen this anywhere else. Okay? So now what we want to find out is, if we have the emGuarde, what can it do to us and what can it do for us? So it's not connected. Now, I'm going to put next to the SDR software. I'm going to turn it on. In 3, 2, 1. Look at the wave spectrum. It's gone down. I'm going to unplug the emGuarde. All right. Take a look at the suppression, guys. Here, take a look at the suppression. Boom. With the emGuarde turned on.
Okay. So when you master the first demonstration tool, this is some of the demonstrations that you can do using the SDR software. And this software, it's a complete third-party software where you can use to test out the efficacy of the emGuarde suppression frequencies. Next, let me explain to you the second demonstration tools that you can use during your emGuarde demonstration. Now, as explained earlier on, the radiation detector 9300 is a customized detector designed to perform an emGuarde demonstration. Now, please note that this detector has got two main functions. Okay? If you look at the top side of the detector, there is a switch button for you to play with, which is 1 dot and 2 dot. Now, the 1 dot function, it's usually used to measure the first type of energy from the radiation spectrum, which is the electromagnetic fields from the AC power socket. Now, please note that during the emGuarde demo, the 1 dot function is not needed. Do not use the 1 dot function to conduct an emGuarde demo, because when you turn on the emGuarde, and if your detector is set at the 1 dot setting, the detector will continue to beep, because emGuarde is not built to address the radiation from the 50 Hertz to 60 Hertz low frequency spectrum. Now let's take a look at the second function of the detector. When you switch the detector to the 2 dot setting, it is actually measuring the high frequency electromagnetic noise radiation between 3 megahertz to 1000 megahertz of range. Therefore, during your emGuarde demo, please make sure that your detector is always on this 2 dot setting. I hope I made myself clear, so that going forward during your emGuarde demonstration, do not make these common mistakes. Next, Do not hold your detector as shown in the first 4 pictures starting from the left, because this detector is built with lots of copper coil from the ring itself, and when you hold too closely to the ring, the static electricity from your palm or your shirt might affect the reading of the detector. Therefore, the correct manner of holding the detector is as shown on the very last picture on the right hand side. Now, let me share with you a more in-depth information on how to maintain or protect the detectors. Number 1, storage. Now, when you buy the detector from the Electric Office, there is one PE bag available in the detector box, and that PE bag's purpose is to prevent moisture buildup in the environment of storage for the detector. And there is a silica gel provided in the PE bag as well to help you to absorb the moisture inside the PE bag. Therefore, you can make sure that the detector is always on a safe, protective environment inside the PE bag. Reason being is because this detector is not waterproof, and you cannot put this detector on a high temperature environment. Okay, so therefore, to maintain or to make sure that your detector can last you for a long time, make sure to keep the detector between 20 degrees Celsius to about 40 degrees Celsius. Number 3, battery replacement. Now, in the Asian countries where heavy-duty carbon zinc 9-volt batteries is available, we advise the distributors to use this regular non-alkaline batteries. However, in the European countries, I was told that the heavy-duty non-alkaline battery has been phased out. And the alkaline battery, it's the only available selection of batteries in Europe. Therefore, I've gained confirmation from the supplier that we can use the alkaline battery, but please pay attention on the instruction on the left. During the installation of the alkaline battery to the compartment of the detector, please make sure that you install the battery with the connector on the correct polarity position. Do not install the battery the other way around. This is to prevent a malfunction on the detector itself. So that is the only notice that you need to be aware of when you use the alkaline battery. Do not install the battery the other way around. And I would like to re-emphasize that because it is very important. And this is to do that, it is to protect the detector from malfunction. Now, last but not least, when there is a battery icon shown on the bottom left of the screen, it represents that it is time for you to change the battery for a more accurate reading from the detector. Now, it is not advisable for you to continue to do an emGuarde demo before you change the battery, because low powered battery will affect the demonstration of the emGuarde demo. Next. Now, this piece of information, it's also very important. And I would like to invite all distributors from Europe to pay very close attention to this information. Now, this detector, and I'm referring to the RD9300, now it is categorized as sensitive equipment due to the high copper wired around the detection ring. And because of that, this detector, it's also prone to electrostatic disturbances. During the emGuarde demo, I understand that some of you have been playing around with the detectors while the emGuarde is turned on. And some of you might be noticing that within the 4-meter radius range, your detector starts beeping on certain blind spots. And some of you could relate this as, could it be the emGuarde who is malfunctioned? Or is there something wrong going with my detector? Now in this video, I'll explain to you fully that there is nothing wrong with your emGuarde, but the reason why your detector is beeping is actually due to the static environment. And it could be coming from the thin air, the palm of your hand, your clothes, or the carpet that you're stepping on. Let's watch the video before I explain further.
Hi guys, so in this video, we will be explaining how static affects sensitive equipment like the RD. So now, I'm going to use the RD to scan the phone, as you can see. So it's picking up radiation reading. But as soon as I turn on the emGuarde, as you can see, the white LED light is on. So the radiation is gone, okay? So I'm going to move all the way back just to show you that emGuarde can actually cover up to that range, okay? It's further away from the table. So what we are going to do next is to turn on the static ball. And as soon as I turn on the static ball, I'm going to show you that, the static, it's able to trigger the RD to beep. Okay, so once I scan the phone and I go near to the static ball, the RD9100 begins to beep again, although it is within the coverage range of the emGuarde. Okay, it's very near, it's less than 1 meter. But as soon as I move away from the static ball, as you can see, the radiation detector stops beeping because emGuarde still function. It's just that whenever we go near to a static area, the RD9100 will get affected by the static and it begins to beep again. Okay? So now I'm going to turn off the static ball. So now the area is without electrostatic, as you can see. And as I scan the phone again, there is no beeping. So during your demonstration, don't get panicked. Whenever there is a beeping sound here and there, it is actually due to electrostatic. But your emGuarde is still working fine.
Okay, so after watching this video, please do not get panicked during the demonstration process. Although it could be within a 4-meter radius, the radiation detector might beep in certain blind spots, and it could be due to electrostatic interference. Now, for your information, I've downloaded this from a Google explanation to provide you with greater clarity on this case. Depending on the construction material and design characteristics of a radiation detector, the static electricity can also affect other components, especially semiconductors that are often quite sensitive. And such events can lead to false readings and/or damage to the instruments. And this was posted 12 years ago. Okay, now in this training, I would like to take this opportunity to explain to you that during an emGuarde installation, the radiation detector is not the best tool for you to determine the emGuarde's coverage range. Because during an installation process, the radiation detector could be affecting or affected by the static electricity. Hence, when you install an emGuarde in your customer's house, and during certain blind spots, the detector might start beeping due to static electricity. Now, your customers may potentially regard this as a defect from the emGuarde. But in fact, in this case, there is nothing wrong with the emGuarde, but the static electricity is actually distorting the judgment from the radiation detector. Therefore, my advice to resolve this issue is you need to equip yourself with two demonstration tools. The first one is the SDR software, which I've shown you during earlier presentation. And the SDR software will not be affected by static electricity. Therefore, the SDR software is a recommended tool for you to conduct the emGuarde installation to show your customers the exact coverage range of the emGuarde. As for the radiation detector 9300, it is also an effective marketing tool for you to show your customers on the sources of electromagnetic noise radiation and from which direction is the radiation coming from. At the same time, it is also able to showcase the emGuarde's suppression function by neutralizing the detector to a zero reading. Now let's start topic number 5. Mastering the environment factors. Now in this topic, I'm going to share with you some of the environments that you need to be aware of during the installation of the emGuarde. Now we understand that the emGuarde utilizes a trade secret harmonic frequencies to suppress the negative effects of the EM radiation around you. However, some of this material in the house setting might affect the coverage area of the emGuarde. For example, a mirror reflection or an aluminum or metal frame from your house, furniture, or window frames. Now, please note that mirror, aluminum, and metal can easily accumulate or lose electrons, leading to the occurrence of electrostatic charges as well. So during the installation of the emGuarde, avoid placing the emGuarde near to these elements in your house. Next, avoid placing emGuarde in the middle of the high electrostatic environment as shown in this picture. Instead, this is what we should do during the installation. For example, in the following picture as shown in the slides, now this is regarded as a very high density of electromagnetic radiation because there is a lot of wirings going on. Now, instead of you placing the emGuarde directly on the source, it is advisable for you to move your emGuarde at least 0.5 meter away from an environment as such. And to do so, the intention is to maximize the potential, all right, of the coverage of emGuarde and it is also to minimize the potential interference of this environment to the emGuarde device. Okay. Now next, avoid putting or installing your emGuarde directly on the floor as well, because the flooring is very prone to the cumulative of electrostatic discharge as well. Therefore, it is advisable for you to place the emGuarde on its box or at a higher position away from the flooring. And this, it's able to ensure you with a more optimized coverage range up to 4-meter radius. Now, for those of you who has got a big house, or you're planning to sell the emGuarde to a customer and he's going to buy either 2 or more emGuardes in the house, please take close attention to this topic. When there is 2 or more activated emGuarde, now it may affect the radiation detector demo within the 8 meters coverage range. Reasons. Now, 2 or more activated emGuarde within the same environment will affect the radiation detector due to interference. So the correct way to conduct an emGuarde demo with the radiation detector when 2 or more emGuarde is present is to conduct the demonstration with 1 emGuarde turned on at a time. Avoid turning on 2 or more emGuardes at the same time to avoid this unwanted interference. Now, please note that 2 or more emGuarde in the same environment will not, okay, the key word is will not affect emGuarde's function as verified by the software-defined radio testing. So do not worry if, let's say, there is 2 or more emGuardes in the same environment, because the functionality of the emGuarde remains at its peak. And the only downside is during the demonstration using the detector, there could be interference happening in the same environment, hence leading to certain false readings by the radiation detector. I hope I made myself clear in this point. Topic number 6. We are almost done with the training and you guys are doing a great job. All right. And it's not easy for all the translator to translate this training into multiple languages as well. All right. So let's give a big hand to all the translators who is actually working hard translating my training materials to all of you in the entire Europe continent. Now, topic number 6. Laboratory and compliance certification. Now, as you know, that emGuarde is actually put to test, and this is one of the laboratory tests made available for your reference. It is done in the University Science of Malaysia, and in this test, it is actually testing the emGuarde's effective range of radio frequency white noise suppression of electromagnetic noise radiation harmonizer. And I will leave all these details to you during your personal study or research in this emGuarde material. Let me read out the conclusion of this particular report. The emGuarde electromagnetic noise radiation harmonizer successfully alleviate unwanted electromagnetic noise wave between 71 MHz to 73 MHz. Now, just in case you are curious, why is the developer testing this particular range in the lab? Is because 72 MHz is the operational frequency for the brain. And this is one of the most important targeted frequencies that they address in order to give the user a positive experience when they are actually in the emGuarde's harmonizing zone. And with that, the user of the emGuarde potentially able to achieve a general improvement from their wellness. And the next purpose of this test is to confirm that emGuarde is able to reach out to at least a 6-meter radius coverage zone. But of course, when you are away from the emGuarde, when you are further away from the emGuarde, the suppression percentages will reduce relatively. So in order for you to get a higher protection, please make sure that the emGuarde is actually within the 4-meter range. It is best that if, let's say, the emGuarde is away from you at least 2 to 3 meters, that is the best range. Anything above 4 meters, it's a minimum protection range, but it is still functioning. Last but not least, these are the SGS regular compliance certificates, and you can view it during your personal revision and research for the emGuarde material. These are some of the photos taken in the laboratory tests. Okay, and emGuarde also obtained the ROHS report. Okay, this is for the Dubai market. And the final topic of today's training, it's I would love to invite all European distributors to make a leveraging to the marketing resources provided by emGuarde. At the same time, you can refer to the emGuarde official Telegram channel for you to download some of the presentation resources and of course the videos that I've shared during today's training session. Now, because there is a lot of you in the training today and we are looking at more than 500 participants, I would love you to list down the questions that you have. If, let's say, the material of the training tonight did not answer your questions, my team and I will take on your questions one at a time when you submit these questions to your respective emGuarde emGuarde branches around Europe. And with that, my team and I can effectively answer your questions one by one. And in the near future, we will be sharing the entire questions and answers in the emGuarde's official Telegram channel as stated on the left-hand side of the screen. So this is the QR code for you to get access to the emGuarde official Telegram channel on the left, powered by emGuarde, the emGuarde.com, which is the official website, and the right-hand side QR code will get you into the emGuarde library for you to download all the high MBs and gigahertz files for the entire emGuarde presentation series, including the PPT, PowerPoint, and the emGuarde videos. I thank you all for your cooperation and your patience in listening to the training today. And I hope to see you very soon in the near future. With that, I end my training session and change your environment, change your life. Thank you very much. And I would like to pass this session back to the emGuarde Europe representative, Monica. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, and I see you guys very soon.
Then I guess there's no question today. At advice from David, so just please send question directly to emGuarde team. Then thank you everyone and see you next time. Bye bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.